Why dreams of an alt season like 2017 or 2021 may be dead. Community voted for this one. I'm delivering what you asked for. So welcome. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Glad to have you with me. Yeah, we did a poll in the Telegram community, and overwhelmingly, this is what you guys voted for. And I'm actually a little bit surprised. I gave two options. Did we want to talk about potentially why alt season may be dead, or just simply what the fuck is happening in the market right now and why? And the overwhelming vote was about 60% for this alt season topic. So that's what we're going to climb into today. As per usual, live chat is open. Love having you with me. And since this was requested by you, come on in and engage, right? If you are new to the stream, welcome. My name is Keith Allen. I am a work from home dad. I'm a full-time trader. I am co-founder at Material Indicators, and I have been immersed in crypto since 2017. And for the rest of you, my OGs, so grateful and appreciative to have you guys with me. I really, truly appreciate the ongoing support. Do me a favor before I dive in. I'm going to give you guys some free insights and drop some alpha on you. And in return, all I ask is that you smash some buttons, hit that like, hit that share, invite some of your friends or fellow community members, fellow traders into the stream. Help me grow the channel and engage. If you are watching live, again, live chat is open. This is for you. And hello, Mr. Nobody. Nice to have you here. And if you are watching the recorded version on X or on YouTube, drop a comment. I will always come back and engage with you guys. So lots to cover here today. And I don't want to waste any time because it's Friday. Lots going on. My Florida State Seminoles are playing tonight, and excited about that. But want to focus on what's happening here. You know, alt season, for those of you who might be newer to the game, the OGs know. But for those of you that might be newer, alt season is just like a mystical beast. You know, historically, if and I'll just go back 2017, 2021, these were big alt rallies. Bitcoin dominance took a nosedive, like below 45%. And we would see the vast majority of alts just make huge runs. And I'm talking triple digit gains were common. And this is over a span of a few months, right? Could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 or 5 months. And we obviously haven't seen that here in this cycle. So, we got a glimpse of what it could look like around the Trump pump, because and there's been so many Trump pumps. The one I'm speaking of is the most significant one, in my opinion, around the election, when things rallied, and we did see a lot of alts soar, and we did see some of them, a few, go into triple digits, but it was not what I would consider an alt season for a number of reasons, including the fact that Bitcoin dominance never dropped below 50%. I mean, I don't even think it went below. I think it stayed around 54%, and it didn't last very long. Yeah, I know. Insert Trump joke here. I know. I'll refrain. And so we've been looking for that kind of rally again, that alt season, that divergence, that big divergence between Bitcoin dominance and altcoin, or total 3, or now we're using total 3 ES to differentiate that. And I'll explain what those things are here in a second. I'll show you a chart. But for much of the year, I've really been wrestling with the fact, the question of whether or not there will ever be the kind of alt season that we had seen in prior cycles. And the more I see things evolve, the more I see things taking shape, the more evidence I see in the data, the more clarity we see on the regulatory environment and what comes with that, the more I'm convinced that alt season will never be like it was. And so we we don't have to clear it dead forever. We just might have to redefine what it is. So that's up to you, right? There are enough speculators in this market that want to see an alt season, and so we will see those rallies. I'm not saying that there will never be huge rallies with triple digit gains again. I'm just saying that alt season, as we know it and love it from prior cycles, um, is not a likely probability, in my opinion. And so I want to climb into the charts, show you some of the data that I'm formulating this opinion on, and let you, of course, formulate your own. Again, live chat is open. Would love having you with me. If you have questions, I will do my very best to answer them. Hey, hello, Arjan. I hope I'm saying that right. From the Netherlands. Appreciate you joining me. Hello, um, Just Sports, esports too. Nice to have you with me. Always good to see some new faces in the stream. Again, if you've got questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If you have insights, man, I'm really, I'll tell you, if you followed me for a long time, you know that I am heavy overweight in Bitcoin. I am a pretty conservative trader, in my opinion, and I don't spend a lot of time in alts. I see value, and I obviously want to take advantage of opportunities that come with any form of an alt season. But there are greater alt experts out there than I am, and if you're one of them and you have an opinion you want to share or some insight you want to share, we welcome that. Okay. So first thing I want to do is share you this chart that I had created. Gosh, earlier in this year. I don't even remember. I've been sharing it for a long time, and we've been watching it throughout the year. And so let's take a look at this chart that is really a combination of four four charts together that I think illustrate what it takes and where we are in any potential of an alt season. And so let's go ahead and share that screen. That is this screen right here, I think. There we go. And if you're familiar with it and it's old news to you, I'm sorry, but I want to educate everybody who might be new. We got some new faces in here. And let's start there. So what you see here, these four lines represent four very important elements of what it takes to what needs to come together to create an alt season. And so the orange line, that one's Bitcoin dominance. I hope that makes sense to you. It's orange is Bitcoin dominance. The purple line is total 3 ES. Total 3 ES, for those not familiar, total 3 is the top 100 coins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And total 3 ES is the top 100 coins excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. This is important because stable coins have become a much larger factor in the mix here over the past year or two because of the growth in stable coins. And so we have now a stablecoin dominance. I used to do USDT dominance. Now I do stablecoin dominance because we have a variety of different stablecoins. So we have stablecoin dominance. This one's short because it's a newer metric on TradingView. What matters is what's here now. And the blue line here is ETH dominance. So as you can see here, at this very moment, we have a tick down in Bitcoin dominance after what had looked like a bottom and things on the rise. We saw a tick down, and we have total 3 ES, which briefly broke through this local top of resistance. I have this line up here as a $1 trillion target that has not come into focus yet. We've been close, but we've not been there. I think about 950 billion is the max I've got if I look historically on my chart. And that was around that Trump pump area, 953 billion, it looks like. And so we've not yet made it to that $1 trillion mark on this total three. Now, all alts collectively have made it there, but not total three ES. So this is where things were looking really promising, and and people were getting really, really excited about a potential alt season. And what happened? Well, in in my experience in this market, and I've been doing this since 2017. Maybe some of you have been here longer, and again, I welcome your insight. Um, when the market gets just emotionally charged, super excited, lots of hype over alt season or anything for that matter, it is a ticking time bomb for a reversion or a trend reversal. It happens time and time again. It's the psychology of the market. And that's the ebb and flow of the market, right? It's these different periods of time where people get excited, they get overzealous, they get over leveraged, and then if they're greedy, they get punished. So really important to take profits along the way. That's just a little side note for you. And so this happened, and now what do we? If you look at Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it this week, the majority of the posts aren't like alt season is here and load your bags and you're going to be a millionaire in a month, because we see that's the kind of bullshit hype that we saw, in the past week or two. Now you're seeing pray for my bags. Hope we get this thing turned around. Hope and prayer is not a strategy in trading. Nice to have them, not a trading strategy. Look at the data, look at the charts, make your decisions based on hard data, not your emotions, not what you're hoping and dreaming. And if you're ever in a situation where you need to pray for your bags, you're screwed. Okay. You're not managing your risk properly, and you're not positioning your trades properly, and you're probably not timing them very well either. Keep that in mind. So, as you can see at the moment, where is the money going, right? This is just a simple flow of where is the money going. When it's going up, is it going to Bitcoin, right? Now it's ticking down a little bit, but look what's been surging here the past few days, right? Stablecoin dominance, because this is what happens when people get scared. This is what happens when it is a risk-off environment. When it's risk-off, money goes to stables and money goes to Bitcoin. And it didn't used to flow to Bitcoin, not so much. It flowed to stables. But now that we have so much institutional adoption and we have sovereign adoption, it is Bitcoin is more and more becoming a safe haven relative to all the other crypto assets. And so we're seeing some strength here. And this speaks to one of the reasons I just don't think that we will see an alt season in the historical sense that we know it by that definition, is Bitcoin dominance. Institutions are keeping institutions and sovereign entities are keeping Bitcoin dominance elevated. It's currently at 50.9%, 58.9%, excuse me. In prior alt seasons, we're down like 40%. This is what, 39%? I just don't think that we're ever going to go there again. I don't think you're ever going to see Bitcoin dominance fall that far. Not unless you have an asset, and this would take a major development for any asset to overtake Bitcoin's dominance. And is it possible? I don't rule anything out in this industry, okay? And we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what the future holds. This is still, in the grand scheme of things, a relatively young asset class. It is just now gaining mass institutional adoption, and we have not even seen the big wave that's coming from the recent legislation, like the Genius Act and the Clarity and the Clarity Act, right? So those pieces of legislation open the doors for legacy finance and banks, right? Not just the guys, the big dogs that came in early with ETFs, but now the banks are positioning to come into the market, and they're going to come on strong. And that may be, I had said when that Genius Bill Act passed, uh, when that passed, my my I speculated, and I said it then, and I'll say it again now. My expectation was that we would see, as those entities came online, we would see a correction that gave them an opportunity to get in at bargain basement prices. And so, we're seeing a pretty nasty correction in the market here, or at least a pullback in the market. We're not even in deep correction territory. We'll look at that in a minute, but I think that may be coming into play here because those guys are going to be coming online soon. And so, anyways, as you can see in this current dynamic, stablecoin dominance is on the rise. We saw a pullback in ETH dominance, big time pullback, and ETH is another one that got potentially overhyped, right? Hard to say if you want to call that overhyped. Tom Lee came in with his ETH Treasury concept, and again, I've talked about this many times. I have a lot of respect for Tom Lee, or at least I had a lot of respect for Tom Lee. I do think he's turned into a bit of a hype man lately because he has billions of dollars invested in ETH, and he's essentially the Sherpa for ETH, ushering in new institutional money into ETH in the very same manner that Michael Saylor has done for Bitcoin. And so his job is to keep the outlook positive for ETH. But so I don't necessarily find fault with him for that. I think he's a brilliant guy. He's been early in crypto. I think he was the first guy in, a noteworthy guy to go public and start telling people to buy Bitcoin years and years and years ago, before we saw any ETFs or anything like that. And so those are all things happening, but things got really hot and heavy fast, and we saw ETH move towards an all-time high, and it was just such a tiny little move, failed to break 5K, that it was things fizzled out. I personally, despite the price action we're seeing here this week, I personally don't think, and I posted this publicly recently as well, I do not think that 49.50 is the top for ETH, and I do not think that 124.5K is the top for Bitcoin, despite the fact that I had posted back in, I think, March of last year, when we had that cup and handle forming, that big giant cup and handle. I had posted that I thought the top would be somewhere between 122 and 125, and I'm not making that up. I'm not giving you an "I told you so." Let me see if I actually have that. I actually still have that chart open, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so there it is. So we've hit that, and but I have some feeling, because of the institutional adoption and because of the legislative tailwind that is developing for Bitcoin. I think that the top likely is not in for the cycle. So we could get into a whole nother discussion on the 4-year cycle, et cetera, et cetera. That's not what I'm going to do here. I want to stay on topic here with the alt season narrative that we started with. So I will continue in that vein here. Mr. Nobody, what is your in this cycle? Some of the names like A16Z, Paradism, etc. Where are they now? Well, good question. I actually haven't looked at those coins, and as I said at the top of this, I'm not I'm not a guy that goes after every altcoin. I look to coins that have some fundamental strength to them. Now, that said, if I see a setup on something for a quick scalp, I'll take it. I'll let my MTF mean reversion bot grab it, and I have no issue with that whatsoever. I'll take a look at these for you real quick if you'd like, and we can see if we can come to any conclusions. Let's see. Let's go to this guy. Well, I have link open. While I have this open, and I'll get to your coins in a second, Mr. Nobody. I feel sorry. I feel bad about calling you that. Look at what's happening here with Link. This is a support test right to the yearly open. I mean, look at how this timescape level marked this. This is freaking picture perfect. Absolutely beautiful. So I like this is of all the support levels on the chart. Yes, we have these technical levels with the moving averages. Those are important for sure. I rely on those a lot. But the yearly open is one that I value probably as high, if not higher than all the rest. Staying above this is really, really important. Losing it is going to send price potentially much lower. I see where we have confluence between the 100-day moving average and this 2022 timescape level, and then if that were lost, then I would look to confluence here, but with this Q2 level here in 2022, which has confluence with the 200-day moving average. I'll look at this on the weekly really quick and see again if there's any other confluences. Good to see this unwinding of the moving averages on the weekly, right? 21 up top in green, red 50, blue 100, purple 200. That's what you want to see. Notice, of course, on the daily, we have a death cross between the green 21 and the red 50. This indicates short-term downward momentum, and the weekly shows longer-term upward momentum. So depending on how you're trading, right? If you're a scalper or a swing trader, you look for your setups. And if you're a longer-term investor, then you like seeing what's happening here, and you like seeing this bounce from this level here. So on to, what was it? AZ? A16. See? Is that it? Oh. And this is going to be a wrapped ETH thing. This is like so not my domain. Are we talking, Mr. Nobody? Are we talking all DeFi wrapped pairs here? Yeah, it looks like. Or did you give me a typo? Answer that, and I'll do my best. Or if you send me ticker symbols, send me the ticker symbols you want, and if I can find them that way, I'll give it a shot. I mean, well, if this is the right pair you're talking about, it looks like it's on a pretty good trajectory right here. This is. Let me know, Mr. Nobody. I don't want to hang up the whole stream on this topic, but if you want to give me some clarification, I'll go back to it gladly. So while we are waiting on that, let's look at something else here, right? Institutional adoption, another reason why things are staying elevated. Interestingly, we saw some inflows on the Solana ETF yesterday, while Bitcoin and ETH ETFs had a sell-off across most entities, with the exception, of course, of BlackRock. And let's see if ETH was, I think ETH was about the same. Well, ETH was about the same, except BlackRock stayed flat yesterday, interestingly. Um, these are still very, very healthy ETFs, in my opinion. And as this legislation is, I think there's been a ruling. I'm not sure if it's been passed yet, but I believe they're making it so that these the ETH ETF and the Bitcoin ETF can be redeemed in kind, meaning they can sell right as they sit right now. These investors have no actual investment in physical. They have no ownership, I should say. All they have invested in is basically the price action of ETH and Bitcoin and Solana. They don't own the underlying asset. However, with this new legislation, um, and if anybody knows for sure if that's passed yet or not, please chime in. Um, they can redeem those in kind, meaning they can sell their ETF for that value in the underlying asset. So if they own $10,000 worth of ETH ETFs, they can sell that for $10,000 worth of, or exchange it rather. It's not even a sell. It's an exchange at that point, an exchange into the underlying asset, which becomes a non-taxable event, by the way. There you go. So, let's see. Susie Q, good to have you back, my friend. Isn't that bullish for alts? Which thing? Which thing is bullish for alts? Let me know. Mr. Nobody, large funds who manipulated or pumped the price of Bitcoin during the 2021 bull run then took profits and shifted capital to altcoins like ETH, Solana, or meme coins to continue pumping. Listen, these larger funds certainly are having an impact on price. And nobody says just because these are big hedge funds doesn't mean that they're not, that some of those managers aren't making mistakes, right? They're not necessarily the smart money. And they are executing on behalf of their customers, right? It's not BlackRock going to stock up for itself or to dump for itself. They're doing what their customers are asking for. Now, they're advising their customers, but keep that in mind. Susie, the Sol ETF is the question is that bullish for alts? It's bullish for Solana. It's not bullish across the board for alts, in my opinion. And I think this is a big distinction here, right? So again, in prior alt seasons, we would see the vast majority of alts absolutely soar. However, in this environment and the rallies that we've had, we're not seeing everything go together. We're seeing, or at least not equally. All alts are not created equal. And so at this point, we're seeing rallies. We're seeing, sometimes it's a sector, a rotation into AI tokens or RWAs or Solana meme coin pumps. And we're seeing it, quite frankly, it's more of a, rather than a sustained rally, it's a take the money and run situation. And that may be what alt season or whatever we want to call it becomes. It is, in my opinion, dangerous to ape in and expect triple digit gains in a very short amount of time, and to not even if your trade is developing beautifully, just as you planned, just as you thought, just as you envisioned, and you got an eye on a 140% target. I hope you get it, but I also hope you'll take profits incrementally along the way. Dollar cost average. You hear people talk about dollar cost averaging their way in. You don't hear a lot of people talking about dollar cost averaging your way out, but I encourage you to do that too, so that you're not stuck holding the bag when things go against you. what did I want to show here a second ago? I got completely sidetracked. I'm loving where we're going with this, guys. But let me look at what I wish one of you could remind me. I wish one of you could remind me what I just forgot. I had another chart I wanted to share. Um, well, I'll look at Bitcoin at the moment, just in terms of where we are in terms of a high tide raising all boats or a low tide bringing them down. And at the moment, we can see that Bitcoin has lost a timescape level here. Oh, now I remember the chart I want to show you too. I'll get you to that in a second. We've lost a timescape level here. This is the quarter. This is actually the first week of the Q3 open. So the first Monday of Q3. And this is the quarterly, the Q3 open, July 1st. And I think it's critical at this point. I posted this chart earlier. It's critical that Bitcoin closes above this level today to see a decent bounce. And we actually have a signal from the trend precognition A1 algo that indicates that we're not likely to bottom or go lower than we did yesterday. I would say that this is at risk of invalidation, but we have to continue watching. A lot of time left in the day, but and quite frankly, if it does recover, based on let's see if we see any change in the order book that gives us some indication that it might get better today. Let's just get a quick refresh. So if we go to the daily time frame, we do see a little bit of buying from the brown mega whales. We see purple selling. Okay, and this may be a function of they're buying large. Those brown mega whales, they're making $1 million plus orders. These are market orders, $1 million to $10 million in size. And in this case, I don't think it's very much. Let's see, it's they were minus 11.3 million, so that was a $2 million buy, and then another 2 million, so 4 million up so far this morning. Meanwhile, purple, relative to that buying, purple bought as well a bit, and now they're selling, and so they could be buying large and selling small. That's that DCA thing I told you guys about. So just keep that in mind and keep an eye on that. It is good to see that we have some bid liquidity rising up, and this may get it over the top and help it push. And you can see right before our eyes, it's starting to happen. We're seeing the other order classes, but this could be retail getting ready for a wrecking right here. Yellow isn't always retail. It's the smallest order class, but often we'll see whales use it. Now, when we see erratic behavior out of that order class, that is a sign that that there's a lot of retail traders at play here. So keep that in mind. What my concern is that we could see this turn into, well, for lack of better terms, a weekend fuckery. So be mindful of that. And in terms of things really, soaring, we got to get back above these moving averages, climb back into this above this trend. I think all those things will happen, but I think they happen in due time. I'm not in a rush. So the chart I wanted to show you, actually, here in the MI dashboard, we're going to look at some global metrics that can give us an indication of what's happening with alts, with the alt market. So this right here is beta relative to Bitcoin, and we can see we've had some volatility here recently. Periods of high beta get us to support levels for Bitcoin, and periods of low beta is when we see alts doing more. And alts are not doing so well right now, as you can see. The chart I wanted to show you, though, is much more alt specific. Let's look at returns and drawdowns for alts. And on this chart, we can see look how much this has changed, right? When we see the red color here, as you can see here, this is 14-day rolling returns. And these are all the alts. We could zoom in and out and we can pick out them all. These are all the USDT pairs on Binance. It's around 400 pairs. And we can see that very recently they were pumping, and they were pumping well, and the vast majority of them were pumping. They weren't making huge runs. 5%, 4.5%, 35%. That's a good 2-week run. 30%. So some of them were making big moves, and this is what I'm saying, right? It's not all they're not all moving together. You got to find those select coins. 56% out of Plume. And let's look at what's happening now, right? Let's see if where'd it go? Can I find it again? Plume, 38%, 48%, 50%, right, over time. And now what's it doing right now? Minus 15%, right? So it's given some back. And you can see now this is showing those profits for the vast majority of them, they've turned to losses. And if we look at this portion of the chart, we can see what the drawdown is on many of these coins. The drawdown is, I mean, on some of them, it's freaking way up there. What is this at nearly 50 in the 50% range? I gotta zoom in a little bit. There's a lot packed in here. WLD down 56%. 58% actually now. TST down 35%. So, you can see and look how quickly this happened, right? Look at this just massive drop off. The red is the percent of coins with less than 10% drawdown. Blue is positive returns. So, we still have we have a situation where, look, 5% of all coins, 5% of all alts have less than 10% drawdown. That means 95% of all alts have more than 10% drawdown over the past 2 weeks. And on the profit side, only 10%, not even 10%, are in profit over the past 2 weeks. So it happens fast. Look how quickly this happened. This was the 19th, the 20th. I mean, this is like 2 days for this big giant drop. So these things happen quickly, which is why I again reiterate the importance of taking profits along the way. Susie, can I look at XLM? Sure, I can look at XLM. And Susie, you are into some interesting coins. I have to say, there are some fundamentals, some positive fundamentals on these, but they, like your other one has not been doing you right lately. I want to say that's Caspa, right? Is that what it is? Wanted to look at XLM. Let's see. XLM USDT. We'll look at it on the mothership. And you can see it has dropped through 3 key moving averages on the daily. And the weekly at least is unwound, and weekly fighting for support at the 21-week moving average. And look at this. I mean, this is bull flaggish in my opinion. So can it hold support here? If it can hold support here, I like that move. If it cannot hold support here, here's what I like. Here's what I'd really like to see, actually. I'd like to see a support test. This would give me more confidence, okay? let's just look at this structure here. We have a large bull flag coming off of double bot triple. I mean, solid bottom, right? Solid foundational bottom support here, right? Big run, and that was a massive move. Let's see how big that was. If you were lucky enough to get it from the bottom, there's your 130% move. Hope you took the money, or at least took some of that money off the table along that run. And so now we have things breaking down. If we could get support, any of these levels here obviously look good, but what hasn't been retested? This breakout had never been retested. This is just a straight rip, and you'll often hear me say straight lines are not sustainable. And this is an instance where we're seeing that, okay? Look at this move. And there was never any support test. These are daily candles, never any support test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, massive incremental move. I mean, massive monumental moves. Now, Susie, if you have some insight onto what drove this fundamentally at this point, I'd love to know if there was a good reason for this pump. That would be helpful in analyzing why it got there and whether or not it's going to hold. So looking at these key areas, a bounce from any of them would be good. Again, this annual open, an important level. This 200-day moving average, an important level. I'd like to see them hold. The fact that there's been no support test, even to here, down to that 25, 26 cent range, that's a little bit concerning. So the door is open for that. Now, if I were taking a position, I'd be a little hesitant right here, unless we see something on fire charts that shows us that we have support happening and buying. And we'll check that in a second. I'd be looking for support somewhere here. This would be really strong if it bounced from that yearly open. And then this is your secondary option. And if that doesn't hold, then you get that support test that comes down to here to where it's really foundational. So let's take a quick peek over at fire charts and see if we can see if there's anything foundational in there. XLM. I haven't looked at this one in a long time. Might take a minute to load. So I'm not seeing buy volume. I'm seeing sell. I'm not seeing bid liquidity. I'm seeing asks suppressing price. So I'm not buying at this level. I'm waiting for that support test, and I'm waiting to see whales start buying. Now, whales aren't buying a lot in this order class. I mean, in this asset, because of the lack of liquidity here. They don't trade very frequently. Brown whales have not traded there at all. And that's not because they're not interested. It's because this order book can't sustain $1 million market trades. So you look to purple to be the largest entity here. And as you can see, there is, I mean, this is Binance, the most liquid, exchange in the world. And $1.3 million is all that is holding this down right here. So that explains why brown whales can't swim in this pond. Look for support at those levels I said. And let's see. Susie says she thinks it was announced as an ISO. Okay. So maybe that fueled that rally, which is good, right? It's if that's a fundamental reason, then that does so. That's fantastic. Maybe we see that support appear here. Maybe it happens. You can see there's some modest support in this 32-cent range, and a little bit of a ladder below that, but then it's a free fall down below 20. So in terms of where that chart sits right now, look at this yearly open right at that 33-cent range, just that I just told you about. So maybe that holds, because if it doesn't, then if it goes beyond 32, then you're going down here. And it was recently announced as part of the Hashtags ETF. Susie Q, you're dialed in. I appreciate that. I respect that. Thanks for sharing. Mr. Nobody asking me to take a look on Apt. If this is going to be another DeFi wrapped situation, then let's see. Okay. There you go. Apt does not look good. It's below all the moving averages. But the good news, there is good news here, though, actually, because it is approaching rock bottom. So now you're looking for the setup, right? You have essentially triple bottom territory right now. So you want to find some buying. Since it is, you're kind of in a no man's land in terms of support here, in terms of technical support. There is some structural, again, on this double bottom, triple bottom range here, but it is much stronger down here. And so how much further is that? That's 3.9, 3.5. So that's not too far. That's not horrible. Let's see what something would look like here on. Geez, that's not what I want. Let's try this again. What is going on? Okay. All right. Well, Trading View. Trying to see how much drawdown we could get out of this guy. Let's go here. And let's go here. And here, just for shits and giggles. Okay. So with price currently right there, and I'll fine tune this a little bit, and a potential 13%. Let's go 13% to the downside. And lots of upside potential, right? Even if you were to just get back to the local top, there's a setup happening here. You just want to look for that whale buying, right? Or those larger entities buying. Let's take a look at fire charts and see if we can get any clues here. Again, some suppression overhead, but there is, that's on a 6-month chart. Really? All right. So you definitely have some liquidity overhead, but there's a whale out there that thinks that this is an interesting level. They're down a bit on this recent purchase, but and I don't see a lot in terms of locals. Well, actually, we do have some support here. So you're coming into what looks like a decent price range to buy, but there's currently, this is a low liquidity coin, by the way. But does seem to be some sentiment here to be buying in this range. So you look for your support level, and when you're comfortable, you can have a nice setup on that coin. Thanks for sharing that one, Mr. Nobody. Um, does Caspa chart look that bad? Is it KAS? Is that the symbol, Susie? I'll take a quick look at that. Yeah, Caspa. And I think that's over on Mex. Um, doesn't look that bad. Well, it looks, you know, from your position, I know you're looking I know last I remember, I don't think you're in profit on that trade at the moment. So here's what looks good. What looks support here at this Q3 timescape level. So that part is good. What is not good is we have death crosses on these moving averages. The green 21 has death crossed all the moving averages. The red 50 just death crossed the 200 and will death cross the 100 in the next day or two. So this is downward momentum short term. On a higher time frame, also not so positive here. And again, you're fighting for this timescape level and not winning that battle at the moment. So I'm not excited about what I'm seeing. Now, are there silver linings to be found? I guess if we look hard enough, we can find something positive for everything. And Susie, I like you, so I'm gonna do this. This is down and dirty, raw TA right here. Let's just see if we can establish another potential technical level that you could get a bounce from. If it doesn't happen here, then this might be an interesting entry around 7 cents. And we're at 7.7 cents right now. So what are we're splitting hairs over an asset that does have some more downside potential, but how far, right? So there's another 6.5% that you could hold, and below that, you lose that, then it's the next technical level is another 10% down, right? That's 16% from where we sit right now, and so on and so forth. So and then this would be where you have that foundational support with double bottom support down here around that 5 cent range. That's 25% down from where we sit right now. So if you're DCAing yourself into a position, then that's how I would approach it. I'd be looking at those levels. I know you have a lot of conviction on this coin, and I know that there are some promising aspects for it. So you do as you do, but just know that you're at risk of potentially another 25% of drawdown before it recovers. Now, it could recover from any one of these levels, including where it is right now. So, whatever happens over this weekend, likely going to be fuckery. Everybody's looking for an exit rally, and so what we're seeing right now might fuel a bit of that, or might lure some people in before the end of the day and into the weekend, and then it might not go so well. And to the contrary, because of how this market operates, if we do get a rally and people do start exiting through that rally, we could see price run away from them. So it's why I encourage staying engaged with assets that have strong fundamentals that you have deep conviction with. If you don't have deep conviction, um, then either stay clear, or if you're just a trader and you got to get in the game and you're turning capital, get in, get out. It ain't alt season. It's take the money and run season. That's my take on it. Let's see. Oh, I see we got a couple more coming into the mix here. I'm gonna do my best, guys, and get as many of these done as I can. Um, Khan says alt season ain't happening until 2026. Khan, I'm going to say that I'm going to challenge you whether we're going to see an alt season like we've actually seen before. So if you were, I don't know if you were in the beginning of the stream, but the whole thesis here is whether we're ever going to actually see an alt season like we've had in alt seasons past. Um, we could say, we could argue whether alt season as we know it is dead or whether we just need to redefine it. I'm fine with redefining it. We're going to need to see something different, and we're going to need to trade it differently than we have in the past. And that means making sure you're finding high quality coins and with fundamentals, and that you are taking profits along the way incrementally, so that you don't get stuck like so many people got stuck here this week. It's going to fool everyone. Yes, that I can agree with. So let's see. How about Tau? Haven't man? You guys are making me look at coins I haven't seen in a long time. So I appreciate that. This is cool. USDT on Binance. I'll go to a candle chart. Make everybody happy. There's the candles. Ugly. But again, potential double bottom happening here. What I don't like is the complete winding of the moving averages. It's ugly. So this needs to find a bounce point. So if it doesn't happen here, look to these lower levels, but I don't have much confidence in this July 2024 level, because there's just not, there's a little confluence here, but I think in terms of this cycle, this is where the foundational support is. These two levels, this Q2 open, likely in this range, is where you're going to find the foundational support. So would be good if it doesn't need to go all the way down to here. A support test here would be good. But again, since we're close to this double bottom, this might prove to do it, and that would be good. This would be a good place for a reversion here. I'll take a quick peek at fire charts and see if there's any liquidity that looks good here. Just a refresh of the screen, and always like to take a quick glimpse at Bitcoin, because a high tide raises all boats. And look, a little bid liquidity coming in there might give it a little pump, but whales aren't there yet. Oh, so foundational bid liquidity coming in above 25, this 250 level, a little more above it, 264. And where we sit right now, there's not a ton. This is, again, low liquidity assets. So low liquidity assets like this, you don't see a lot of whale moves. And there's clearly a whale swimming in this pond. Might be a killer whale, though, so be careful. I like that there's bid liquidity here. I like that there's not a ton of overhead resistance, so it won't take much. This right here, see this block of ask liquidity? It looks like, let's see if this actually shifted, if this was an adjustment here. Come on, internet connection. Let me refresh that and I'll get it back. My internet is lagging a little bit. I paid for the new high speed whiz bang fiber optics and it's still lagging. Okay. So a little bit of a bounce, but this right here, right? So it looks like this may have actually dropped into this range here. So, and I'm not sure why they would do that, other than trying to suppress price, right? This is manipulation, right? They place it here, price responds by moving lower, and now price is trying to rebound, trying to revert, and you can see bid liquidity stair stepping up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is positive, and this is why we see price starting to move up. So can they take out this little bit? And that's only 135,000 here. And this is only another 131,000. So there's not a lot holding price down here. Would be easy to cut through, especially if whales will make one more buy. So this is why I like watching the CVD in real time, because when you see that happen on a asset with liquidity this low, right? Purple whales, their minimum order size on a market order is 100 grand. So if that is going to happen, then it's going to pump through fast. So that's what makes fire charts so valuable. Watching that CVD, you would spot that move, but there's sell pressure at the moment, little bit, not a lot happening here. Keep an eye on the activity. And in terms of your bounce, again, you have got a situation where you're approaching a double bottom. You're at a double bottom zone right now. I just like to see a little bit more just to get to this, another technical level. May or may not happen. The fact that you have some buying going on right now is encouraging, but you're not in the clear yet. So keep that in mind. Thanks, Mr. Nobody. I appreciate you joining me. Let's see. Thank you. Hope that was helpful for you, Piite. Susie. So the only coins you have conviction on the moment for our BTC, ETH, and Sol. Am I an open book? Yeah, you pretty much nailed it, Susie. That's the only thing that I'm holding at the moment. I am in a few ugly altcoin trades because I felt that we were going to rally, and that hasn't happened yet. So at this point, I may stake those coins and let them recover, and because I still don't believe that the cycle is over. However, we are in a situation where we need to be very mindful, because the structure has been broken. There's no question that the structure has been broken. And if I were trading in hindsight, which I can't do, I would have, and I was just reflecting on this yesterday. Something I'm going to do better at. And listen, like I said, I've been trading since 2017. I have taken my lumps, and I continue to learn every day. And the one lesson that I won't say the one lesson, a lesson that I have learned before, and need to be better about sticking to those rules, is that I called this level all the way back. I mean, all the way back to 2024. And where's the damn chart? Right? So right here in March of 2024, I called this level. And I should have taken more off the table right here, and I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because between here And here, a lot changed in the macro, meaning more institutional, um, and and more importantly, the Trump administration and their crypto friendly posture. All of this will, in my opinion, help the asset class grow to greater heights. So, in hindsight, now that we're down, and now that we're down significantly from here, I wish I had taken more. In the future, I am going to be strict about sticking to my rules. Uh, and that one in particular, I had the vision, I saw it, I nailed the call, and I didn't capitalize on it as well as I should have. I could have executed that better. Um, Getting along on this one, guys. So I'm gonna wrap it up soon, but I will give you one more because Just Sports just asked, "What about ETH? That tricky coin, ETH, you some bitch, right?" That's another one that I did not used to have conviction on ETH, and quite frankly, it was the Tom Lee narrative that gave me more conviction on ETH. So I started accumulating more ETH this year, and I had a little bit. I started buying a little bit more, and when we got towards, a few weeks ago, I'd say last month, where I thought we were really going to see a breakout, I started accumulating more. And so I'm not in a great position on ETH right now, but I do think that, like I said, I just don't think that with all of the institutional adoption coming in, and more importantly with ETH, because it is the whole plan, and Tom Lee's whole narrative isn't just like, oh, he's going to be an ETH treasury like Michael Saylor is a Bitcoin treasury. Um, Tom Lee's approach is different. Tom Lee's approach is based on the fact that ETH is going to be the backbone of the new financial system, and he's not speculating on that. Banks are building on it, literally building on it. So it's going to happen unless something new comes along that changes that. And by something new, I mean either new legislation or new technology or a new asset that could change the landscape. Is that likely? Is that a high probability? Well, not in the near future, but nobody knows what the future holds again. So that's my take on that. So let's look at this ETH chart right here, and we're coming into, obviously we came off of a high. We had our all-time high is now at 49.55, and that's like what, $100 up from where it was. So after years and years and years, you think it was all for $100 move, and now we have all this institutional adoption, and you think that ETH can't break 5K. I have to think in my heart of hearts that is going to happen at some point in time before the end of this cycle. So that's why I have conviction on ETH. We're seeing a support test here, to a level that is, obviously a picture perfect landing on a timescape level. So that gives it value. But I wonder if this is quite it. I see more strength where there is confluence between this 21-week moving average and these two. There's two combined timescape levels here. I don't know what they are without zooming out. It doesn't really matter. Just the fact that they exist like that. If one was 2025, that would get me a little more excited. It's not. Nonetheless, strong technical support right here at this 3,400 level. Strong technical support here at this yearly open level. And let's go into the daily time frame, and we can see that yearly open. That is yearly open at right 3,300 in that range as well. So in other words, I'm not confident in this being the bottom just yet. I want to see how things develop through this past this weekend, right? Short term death cross between the green 21 and the red 50 means short term pain. Potential support here or at this 100-day moving average, and yearly timescapes. Those yearly timescapes, I really love them. Around that annual open. So keep that in mind. I'm saying proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. DCA, if you will, if you're looking to add to your position, or safer yet, wait until you see whales getting into the game, getting back in with conviction on ETH, with volume. Since I have this Tau chart open, we can see that asks are floating upwards too. This is the market maker, right? Market maker is pushing it right here, and he's going to allow price to move up a little bit. But guess what? He's likely going to come crashing down on you. So don't get played there. Come on, internet. Waiting for things to load today. It's just nuts. I want to see an ETH chart. Am I going to get it? Look, it's just like stopped at the moment. Let me see something really quickly on my ETH chart. On the daily, did we get any new signals on the daily? So yeah, we do have a trend precognition signal from the A1 algo down here, similarly to what we saw on Bitcoin. I'm just not convinced that it's that this is what brings us to the next leg up. At least not until we get through this weekend, and we have, look, we got a monthly close happening in a few days as well. So those are things to keep in mind as well. All right, let's see if my internet will cooperate here and give me a chance to look at this ETH. Here we go. ETH, USDT. Not a lot of volume happening here at the moment. Little bit of suppression here, little bit of whale buying happening. So let's see what happens incrementally. I think we're going to stay in this range at least for the weekend. Maybe crack back above 4,000, lure some people in. Maybe dip down below into that 3,850 range. I think come Sunday things are going to get interesting, and then of course the monthly close coming up. Right? What's today? Today is the 26th. 27, 28, 29, 30. How many days are in this one? What month are we in? We're in September. So 4 days. So yeah, I mean, like, we have a monthly close happening on Monday, if my dates are right. So let's watch for new trend precognition signals on all of these assets on that monthly, and make our move from there. Because eeping in early, sure, it could give you rewards if you nailed it, but it can also punish you. So I find it better to wait for confirmations. Are much more rewarding than and less stressful than getting than aping in early and finding out the hard way that you were too early. So keep an eye on these key levels right here. Holding above this quarterly open is going to be very important for ETH this coming week, right? And we're battling with it right now. So the first step in getting back above here is clearing here. Now, if we can see price move back above these moving averages, and they're all really, really wound tight, so it's not going to take a big move. But if we can get closes back above here for Bitcoin, so that means back above 114, 114, yeah, back above 114, then we're back in the hunt to get into the range here. But this is a hard ceiling right here to pass through, and you can see it's been tested 1, 2, 3 times already. Maybe the fourth time is a charm. We've covered a lot of ground today, guys. I really appreciate the engagement. Love having you guys lob up questions and coins for me to analyze for you. Hope it has been valuable and insightful for you as well. If you are looking for more access to these tools, if you're looking for more engagement with me, you can do so Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of these. I'm doing my best to get them out as frequently as possible, but you got to realize I am doing a lot here. I'm still raising a family. I'm still running 2 businesses, and I have got a lot. My own trading is suffering because I'm not spending a lot of time on my own trading, and I should be doing more because this is opportunity time, guys. So, bottom line here, let's wrap it up in a picture. This is opportunity time. So while everybody is fearful and scared, the more you read on Twitter, the more you read people saying pray for me. I hope this happens. Pray for my bags. The more you see that kind of shit, that's fuel for you to find buy zones and targets. I'm telling you, when people are most fearful, Warren Buffett said it. When people are most fearful is when you need to be greedy. And when people are greedy is when you need to be fearful. It ain't alt season. It's take the fucking money and run season. And then recycle that into another trade. If you don't have conviction on that coin, don't mess with it. If you see a perfect setup on a coin you don't have conviction on, sure, take that trade, but get in, get out, take the money, turn it into another trade, compound your portfolio. That's how you're going to build wealth, and you're going to do it with good risk management principles. If you want to engage with me more, again, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of these, but come join us in the Telegram community, the Material Indicators Telegram community. The link is in the description. It is also in the Material Indicators, MI_algos Twitter page on that profile, and it is also at the top of the Material Indicators website. So make sure you are joining that community. It's free. We're talking about this stuff all day, every single day. And if you want access to any of the tools, links are into the description. Have a fantastic weekend. Spend some time doing what you love with the people you love. Spend some time finding those perfect setups. And go Knowles, baby. We're playing tonight. Have a great weekend, guys. If I see anything new developing, I'll do my best to keep you guys updated. But do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Trade smarter.